So you know those moments when someone does something that really bothers you? A friend doesn't invite you, your partner won't change a habit, your coworker keeps slacking, and your brain just spirals? You replay it, overthink it, maybe vent to someone, and underneath it all is this question. Why are they like this? And how do I get them to stop? That's the problem Mel Robbins tackles in the Let Them theory. The whole book starts from one simple idea. Instead of wasting energy trying to control people, you say, let them. And then you follow it with, let me. As in, let me focus on what I can actually control. My choices, my reactions, my boundaries, my life. Mel's big insight is that most of our stress in relationships comes from trying to manage other people's behavior, emotions, and decisions. Let them is her shortcut for stepping out of that pattern. Someone doesn't text back? Let them. Friends go on a trip without you? Let them. Your partner keeps eating badly despite your lectures? Let them. But she's very clear. If you stop at let them, you can slide into fake detachment. Like, I don't care, whatever, I'm above this. Which just isolates you. That's why the second half, let me, is crucial. Let me decide what I want, how I'll respond, what standard I'm going to set for my life, and whether I even stay in this situation. When you combine both, you accept that other people are who they are, and you put your energy into your own actions instead of constant emotional policing. Why we struggle: control, fear, and the social brain. The book digs into why this is so hard. A big theme is our hardwired need to belong and our fear of rejection. Mel talks about how the social brain constantly scans for signs that we're being left out, judged, or abandoned, which is why something as small as not being invited can feel huge. She also explains that a lot of our overreactions come from old, emotional patterns. Basically, adults acting like kids in grown-up bodies. Children sulk, slam doors, throw tantrums. Adults do the upgraded version: rage texting, silent treatment, passive-aggressive comments, drama at family dinners or at work. The Let Them theory is about stepping out of these automatic, childish reactions and choosing a more emotionally mature response. Let them behave how they choose. Let me behave like the adult I want to be. How it plays out: everyday relationships. From there, Mel walks through all the major areas of life and shows how this theory works in practice. In friendships, she talks about how relationships naturally fade, shift, or change with timing, proximity, and energy. Her 3 invisible pillars of good friendship. Instead of begging people to prioritize you, you let them show you who they are, and then you decide. Let me invest in people who actually show up, and stop chasing the ones who don't. In romantic relationships, she warns against falling in love and with someone's potential instead of their actual behavior. The Let Them lens says, let them be exactly who they're being, inconsistent, non-committal, or maybe wonderfully reliable, and let me believe their actions, not my fantasy. You stop trying to love or fix someone into changing, and you start deciding what you will and won't accept. She applies the same idea to family, parenting, and the workplace, with things like a critical parent, a controlling in-law, or a difficult boss. You can't rewire them, but you can use let them to step out of the emotional tug-of-war and let me to set boundaries, say no without guilt, and choose where your time and attention go. Rescue versus support: when not to step in. Another big concept in the book is the difference between helping and rescuing. Mel shows how often we jump in to save people, with money, constant advice, solving their problems, and that can quietly turn into enabling, especially with things like addiction, chronic irresponsibility, or someone refusing to face their own issues. Here, let them means letting people experience the natural consequences of their choices. As long as they're not in immediate danger, then let me kicks in as, let me set clear boundaries, offer support without fixing, and step back when I'm actually getting in the way of their growth. The hard truth the book pushes is that you can't want someone's healing more than they want it, and constantly rescuing them can keep them stuck. Practical tools, scripts, boundaries, and the let me era. The book is not just theory, it's packed with little scripts and questions to use in the moment. Things like pausing to ask, am I trying to control them right now? Or, what is actually in my control here? And then consciously choosing a let me action. Maybe saying no, maybe walking away, maybe focusing on your own goals instead of their drama. Mel also talks about reaching what she calls the let me era, a stage where you consistently live this way. That's when you stop chasing people, stop over-explaining your boundaries, and stop basing your mood on what everyone else is doing. Instead, you build a life, a social circle, and a schedule that actually match your values, because you're no longer spending all your energy trying to manage other people. Final takeaway. If you had to sum up the let them theory for someone who's never heard of it, it's this. Let them be who they are and let their actions tell you the truth. Let me take responsibility for my actions, my standards, and my life. Mel's whole point is that when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, other people, you get back something way more valuable. Your time, your peace, your confidence, and the energy to build the kind of life and relationships that actually feel good to live in.